Molly Ivins is something of a contradiction in terms. She is a liberal and a good old girl, a proud Texan who likes to zing her state's cowboy image, and a witty political observer who has launched her best barbs at fellow Texans Ross Perot and George Bush. Mr. Bush, she says, was the, quote, weather-vane president. Mr. Perot, quote, a jug-eared billionaire who is as serious as a stroke. Molly Ivins' new book is called Nothing But the Good Times Ahead. She joins us now from San Francisco. Molly Ivins, thanks for being with us.
Judy.
Your book is, of course, a compilation of your columns, I think, over the last few years. And let me ask you first about the gentleman you wrote so passionately about on several occasions, and that is Mr. Perot. How much of a player do you think he still is on the American political scene?
I wish this were my line, but it's not. Michael Wines observed recently that Ross Perot has become the San Diego chicken of American politics. Strutting up and down on the sidelines, getting lots of laughter and applause while the team slug it out on the field. I do think Ross Perot loves the attention, and while I try not to be one of those pundits who always pretends that they know what lies ahead, it wouldn't surprise me if he went after the Republican nomination next time.
The Republican nomination, not a separate party, independent.
Rather than as a third-party candidate, yeah.
Do you think he hurt himself at all by not coming forward with specifics back when everybody was asking him about his plan to cut the budget and cut spending and so forth?
I'm not sure that made much of a difference in people's impressions of Perot. It seems to me that the disenchantment started first when he dropped out in the middle of the race in the summer of '92, and then, of course, was underlined by that extraordinary performance on 60 Minutes when he sat there with little springs coming out of his head, and we all noticed for the first time that his paranoia. And he is only slightly paranoid, but it's like being slightly pregnant. It tends to get worse.
Let me ask you about the other Texas politician you've written about so frequently, and that's George Bush. Do you miss having him around to write about?
No, I miss him terribly. It just breaks my heart. He was such wonderful material, truly. I mean, when Bush was in his campaign mode, you could count on him to achieve a level of transcendent dorkiness at least once a day.
How do you think he's doing as an ex-president, or has there been enough out there for you to even comment on? What do you think?
Well, he follows Barbara to the Rice supermarket in Houston and holds her purse while she shops. He's doing well. He's acquainted with the barcodes and the scanner now.
I noticed in the book that you're pretty favorably disposed to, and your columns too, you're pretty favorably disposed to Bill Clinton during the campaign last year. How do you think, at least compared to his opponents, how do you think he's done since you've been in the White House?
Well, it kind of reminds me of watching Billy Kilmer play football. I don't know if you remember the old Redskins quarterback, but he used to start every play by dropping back 20 yards, and then, of course, Clinton's opposition pushes him back another 20, and you just know he's going to get nailed back there. You can't stand to watch, but he gets the pass off. But it's a terrible pass, and it wobbles, and it flutters. It flies like a wounded mallard, and you know it's going to get intercepted, and they all go up after it, and then everybody falls down. And at the end, it turns out he's gained 2 or 3 yards. I mean, it's absolutely excruciating to watch, but he is actually moving the ball.
Has he surprised you? I mean, is that a surprise that he's done that, or did you think things were going to be smooth, or what?
I seem to be one of the few people around who was neither surprised nor disappointed by Clinton. Perhaps my expectations were different, but I'm a great believer in the first 3 rules of political reporting, which are look at the record, and look at the record. So I spent a lot of time last year over in Arkansas looking at Clinton's record, and no, I'm not at all surprised.